All right, so today on the podcast we have Jerry Yaremko. Jerry has or is currently a territory sales manager in the northeast or north mid part of the country. Um, Currently living in Cleveland area. Um, so Jerry, we actually share a name, huh? And maybe even more than the name. Originally, you're from
Lviv, Ukraine.
so Ukraine as well, right? So we share a name, share a country that we were born in. Um, but tell us a little bit about your life right now, like who you are, what you do, just kind of like a quick overview, like a couple sentences.
You also have to share the fact that both our names, even though we share the same name, they're not real. They're made up. They're not our given name.
Well, supposedly they're translations, right? Is that
Uh, Supposedly, but there's a lot of people with our given name that have different names, so there's really no translation. We just kind of came up with this, and that's what somebody picked, and we all followed him.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, but anyway, what was your question?
Just like what is your life like, who you are right now?
All
Like
right, so
right
currently, yes, we reside in Cleveland, Ohio area. And I'm understanding this podcast is around my work. Is
it's
that true?
work and life. Like it's a little
Okay,
bit about you and then a bit about your career or your
sure,
work. Yep.
sure. Happily married, celebrated 20th anniversary this year, and Victoria is my wife, and we have two daughters, Allie and Liliana, and they're both young adults. I got 18 and 17-year-old back to back. So yeah, that's our family, and my job is. You were right. You were in Midwest. My territory ranges anywhere from eastern part of Ohio and all the way to uh, your old hometown, Rochester. So
Yeah,
I go
nice.
all the way there, and then all, western part of the PA, West Virginia. That's my territorial work. I do industrial sales. Uh, I'm direct employee with a company out of Missouri, but their origin is actually in Hanover, Germany, called VSM. I believe we sell. That's a joke, but it's really not. It's reality. I sell sandpaper. There's not too
Nice.
many people you meet that. That's me. I sell
Okay.
sandpaper.
Good, good, good. So, you mentioned you were born in Lviv. How old were you when you moved to the States?
Yeah, born and raised in Lviv, Ukraine, which is what part of Ukraine, and I was 14 when we moved to the state.
Oh,
14 years old, so not much that I remember from back in the old days country, but enough to still remember some.
hmm. So when you moved here, you went into let's see, was it like ninth grade, eighth grade, something like that?
Yeah, eighth grade, finished up eighth grade, and then started high school here. Yeah,
What was high school like for you?
high school was work. It is the worst place you can be when you are a teenager and not speaking the language. You're the only Ukrainian in the school that speaks it, that you don't understand. So you can only and people can imagine how that is. Maybe somebody can live through it and uh, testify same thing. But yeah, it's not the best. It's not the best years. Um, a lot of humbling experiences, if you will. But I don't hold grudges. It's all part of the living. Some people had to work there, but it was good. I don't have the American sense of high school years where they have the same people they grew up with and they go to school and then they graduate together. None of that was in my life. My first couple of years in high school, I did high school, my up to junior year, and then I switched vocational school. So I went a
Hmm.
couple of years vocational school. So I wasn't not part of high school building. and I finished school while I was in high school. So I did graduate. I do have a diploma. It's somewhere, in, I promise. But that's
Okay. So you were in high school and then you went to like a trade school, or it was more like a BOCES? I don't know if that's
school,
what it's
trade
called.
school. Yep, that's what it
O-
was.
Okay. Um. So what were you learning in that school, like in the trade school?
So being a teenager, coming to US, this was a time where I had to kind of figure out what I want to do for my life. And just like many teenagers, they're lost, and I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted to. It had to be some trade, and I didn't know what I wanted to be. I envy people that know what they want to be from the little kids. There's a lot to say about that. When a kid grows up and like they know that I want to be a doctor or I want to be a scientist or something. I wasn't that. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I don't know what I didn't really didn't have any kind of hobbies that would drive me towards it. So I relied on my American friends, sponsors to help me with my decision.
Hmm.
And them, I give them a lot of credit. In fact, they're a big part of my life, of who I am right now. Even we're still close friends, but they kind of pointed me into back then. That's we're talking about 1990s here. So back then, factory job was a big deal, and it was a good money making profession if you like that kind of stuff. So they introduced me and pointed me towards precision machine technology, which is really, if you know anything about factory work, the tool and die making.
Hmm.
Anybody that works with metal. So if I pursued with that career, if I liked it, then it would have been a good stable living. But that's what I went for. Like it or not, didn't know anything about it. In fact, the joke is when he said tool and die making, I was talking about diamonds. I'm like, I don't do any. I don't jewelry. Um, I didn't even know what it was, but I checked out for it and I finished it. Um, not liking it,
Hmm.
but I got it.
Okay. So that was in the BOCES, in the trade kind of part, right? And then you were working at the factory right after that.
So yeah, actually interesting story. Um, so I finished that program, didn't like it because I don't like factory work, I guess. But when you don't speak language and you don't have any other skills, you're kind of limited to your opportunities. So I did finish, got my certificate, and the school had a placement program at the local factories. So this factory uh, took me on, and there was an old timer. His name was John. Um, the way he would break kids, and he would just give us the worst jobs around the factory. It has nothing to do with working with metal. What I did through the summer, there was a summer program before he would sign me up for internship, become a journeyman. Is would make me wash these huge milling machines, these huge machines where you had to climb on top of them, wash them down, all that grease, oil, kerosene, and that's what I did. Pretty much,
Hmm.
that's pretty much all I did. Like, okay, Jerry, let's go. I'll sign you up for the journeyman program. I said, John, as much as I hate schooling, I think I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to college because that was not plans. I don't like another thing that I didn't like was learning, school, college. I didn't have money for it. I didn't like it, but it was a better thing to do than doing that um, for the rest of my life.
Okay. So you decided to go to college. You signed up. Did you actually go?
I did. I did. So I quit
Okay.
that summer job. I went to community college. That's all I could afford. And I got myself an associate degree in business.
Okay. Did you pursue it after that? After the associates, or just the associates?
Say what?
Did you go to a 4-year college after that, or just you just kept the associate degree and went into the workforce after that?
No, no, that's all I could afford. That's all I went for. That's all I could take studied. So I got my teacher's degree, and I went for it.
Okay, and then what did you do after that? Like, what kind of job did you find, or how did you go about finding a job after college?
So my first job out of college, uh, even in college, I was trying to find some jobs. One of the jobs I had was selling Sears men's clothing, selling men's
Hmm.
clothing in a Sears. Back then, some old people like me can remember Sears was still in business, and I was while I was in college, one of my um, part time jobs that I had while I was in college at the time. Um, but after that, my first real job was inside sales um, in industrial distributor here in Cleveland. And this industrial distributor was selling anything that related to metalworking or to shop with, um, related supply. And I was working inside, not a salesperson, I would say salesperson, but inside. So my role was supporting people that are outside.
Okay. And as far as compensation for that, that wasn't like 100% commission, right? It was some kind of
No,
salary or hourly
that
or something.
salary. That was a plain salary. Inside salespeople work on salary or hourly.
So that's how you kind of started in the sales career, basically, right?
That was
Starting with the inside sales.
Yes, that was my introduction to sales. Other than my Sears selling job, that was my real introduction to industrial sales, um, products that we were selling. That was not that I knew. I had to learn, mm, but then I had to support outside with that.
How much would you say your personality has to do with you choosing the sales role?
Can we?
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
That's right.
What question?
So,
I
how much
can
does
I
your
need to take a sec.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that.
That's right. So how would you describe yourself in terms of your personality, like outgoing, introverted, whatever other words you can use?
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting because even that little job in Sears that I had showed me who I was. And I think it actually goes back to my job at that little factory, the washing milling machines and big. When I was in that, there were a guys would come in, salespeople, and here I am, Jerry washing my. This guy is walking through the shop, nicely dressed, with a pager at that time, deeper pager and a notebook, and I'm like, I want to be like, I don't want to be the, I want to be that. So that I don't know if that was necessarily my motive, but They kind of gave me an introduction to people that do sales for a living. And so when I got my job at Sears selling, I noticed that I like or I enjoy being around people.
Mm-hmm.
I love dealing. I love talking to people. I'm not an extrovert. I don't know if that I was always not an introvert. Maybe at one point I was an introvert when you're a kid, not sure of yourself. Everybody's an introvert in a way, but I don't think I was that introvert. I wasn't shy. But I remember the day. I actually remember the day. I was home, not feeling well. Didn't really feel like going to work. Someone wanted, but I went because I never called off. But I went, and I noticed that when I went to work and I started talking to people, that my bad day, my mood would go away,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of told me that anything that I'm gonna do, it's gonna have to be around people because I actually enjoy. They there's all kinds of joy people, so that's kind of pushed me towards salesmanship. And when I got my job on inside desk, um, I wasn't really dealing. I was dealing with people on the phone, but I wasn't dealing with people with face to face. I always want to be outside. My language at that 1996, let's say. So it was, my language got really, but not efficient enough to be professional. Um, but I don't know if that was that. The guy just wouldn't help me out. I was pretty good on the desk, supporting the owner and his account, and he would just want to lose me. So actually, I had to quit the job to go become an outside.
Okay. So you realize that you get recharged around people, that like you mentioned, your mood changes when you're around people versus being by yourself and so on. So you kind of realize whether you had the words like extroverted, introvert, or whatever, regardless, but you figured out that you need to be around people doing stuff on that
Correct.
side. How
Correct.
did you how did you get over, like, now I'm assuming you're in a role where, or at least you went through roles where you had 100% commission kind of a role. How did you get into that? Like, mentally, how did you get over it? Like, a lot of people are like, okay, I'm used to hourly, I'm used to salary, but this commission thing, like, sometimes you get paid, sometimes you don't get paid. um, what was your mindset like around that, and how did you get over it?
So you you need to know that not all outside salespeople are commission based.
Okay.
A lot of outside salespeople or salespeople that sell for a living, they have some salary, a little bit of a mixture of any all kinds of programs. You could be all salary, salary plus salary plus bonus. So there's different companies do different ways. The role that I am in, first job that actually is a commission salesman,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty scary because before that I worked for 18 years uh, for the company that had the combination of several programs, but I always had a salary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but jumping to this company 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 years January, um, was a scary move because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'll tell you, and I'll tell anybody that's listening. Uh, Outside sales position, full commission um, program is really good when the economy is good. But I tell you, recently, 2020 was not the best year for outside guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we hit, but that's where your discipline comes into spending. Um, you bank for that. You plan, yeah, and all the other stuff, personal finances come into mind. Um, to plan for stuff like that.
Yeah. Uh, in sales, how did you learn to get over rejection?
You know, yeah, um, I know some people have big problems with rejections. I was prepared for them because I see when I grow up, I love, I actually love what I do. I still love. I've been doing it over 25 years, long time. But I always I love business and I love selling, and I read a lot of books, so I was prepared that rejection is gonna come. You're gonna hear no's. You're gonna have the door slapped and you're gonna be thrown out of place. So I was kind of prepared. In fact, that's how I think somebody said, or maybe I read somewhere where you're gonna get 10 rejections before you get a yes. So I would count those rejections. I didn't mind. I don't mind. I don't. There's a term called says cold calling, where
Hmm.
you don't have an appointment. You just kind of show up and you hope for the best. I, I love doing it. I don't know why. I don't sell. Listen, so I don't. I'm on commission, right? But my territory is producing sales, so I kind of have. I don't have that program where if I don't sell, I don't eat. Like people that sell vacuums, for example, or they sell pots and pans, or they sell insurance, or not insurance, yeah, but like pots and pans, vacuums. I remember that people were selling vacuums door to door. So if they sell a vacuum, they um, car salesmen, they're in that program where they if they don't sell, they don't eat. I my job, my work, my territory is repeat business. There's a lot of repeat business. I sell through distribution to the end user.
Hmm.
So I sell, and they like my product and they keep buying. So I get commission off of that. I have a residual commission on products that I have sold, years ago. I still
Hmm.
collect commission on it because every time they buy, I get a little slice of it. Um, but I have banking on that, and but my job is always, obviously go and sell more, sell to new people, sell more to existing people. Um, so I always have that.
So, have you done any? Right now, you're in business to business. Have you done any like business to consumer sales?
I have no, I have not. It's always been through distribution. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How do you stay motivated in sales? Like nobody tells you what to do, when to do it, right? Like you have to have your own schedule and do things that you need to do.
Yes. Yeah. So if to be a good salesman, and I'm, I'm trying to be humble here, but and I'm not trying to be greedy, but if you're in if you're in sales, you have to um, like money. You like to have reward. I had an opportunity to manage a couple guys in my previous work, and I would tell them that you have to be a money hungry. Much as that sounds horrible, you have to be a money hungry to become a good salesman. And it's not even about money. It's about getting that order, getting that deal closed, um, getting somebody to buy from you because they like you, because they like your product, because they trust you. That's what drives me. And I don't, I really don't see the problem. The thing is with my job is it's not one time sale. So if I sell to somebody, it's not the last time I see him. That's not the last time I'm going to talk to him. So I have to make sure that I come across as a trusted partner in whatever they do, because I'm banking on the fact that they're going to keep buying from me.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's you have to be disciplined. You have to like what you do, and you have to like the people. And I love.
How do you build relationships with your customers?
I treat as I would like to be treated. The old saying, it's from the Bible. Um, you you have to lower yourself to the point where they see that you are there to help them. And if you come across to tell them something, you're gonna get shut down. And I have learned the skill where I come around, and I don't sound like a sales. I sound like somebody like, listen, here's what I got. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Let me see what I can do for you. If I can do it better than what you have, I'll let you know. If not, I'll let you know as well. And people like that. People appreciate common sense, a humility, and that kind of approach works.
How do you stay organized in sales? It's like sales reps usually have a reputation of being kind of all over the place or not as organized. Um, are you organized, or how do you stay organized?
Yeah, I want to say that I am organized, but I know people are there are people that are more organized. What I have learned that works for me, um, you know, or so there's different kind of programs. There's different kind of computer programs. There's a different paper programs that you can stay organized. My organization comes really from a notepad. That's my organization. Yes, we have CRMs or Word to help you to organize. And this, I have learned for some reason it works for me. It works for me. It's not gonna work. I There's a lot here that I
Yeah.
know that I rely on, and so far it has not let me down. If it's gonna start letting me down, start using some other things to stay organized.
How do you translate that? Like, because it is true. Like a lot of salespeople, they're in front of the customer, so they have those conversations. They have that communication, so they know what has been communicated. But if they don't log it somewhere, somebody else within the company doesn't have access to it when they need it. How do you translate that? Do you like log kind of every conversation you had with the customer, or what do you do that with that?
Each company, my company is not into micromanaging at this at this point. So even though we do have a CRM where we do log in our conversations and what happened, um, but it's not to the T. I heard there's companies with the bigger organizations, bigger um, structures have a more detailed information. But we're not that. We're a small company, um, not that small, but let's say or
Do you find that you have a lot of prospects that you go to and you have a conversation, but later on maybe you come back half a year later or a year later and you're kind of sort of forgot what you talked about? Do you run into those scenarios?
I wouldn't say that's mine. Yeah, I mean, things change all the time. But yeah, I would can't picture one.
I guess I'm coming from like business to consumer, B2C, and when you have a lot of consumers or customers, I feel like there needs to be a lot more documentation of those conversations. Like for me personally, when I go out and on different sales calls and so on, after a while, after talking to 10, 20, 30 people, I forget conversations. It's like you talk to
Yes,
so many people, you know.
yes. Okay, so let me explain a little bit. It's a little different. You're dealing with end users. You're dealing with the actual people
Right.
that buy and use your product. I I deal with distributors. So we sell our product through a distributor to the end user. So I don't
Hmm.
go sell directly to the factory. I sell through ABC Supply, and ABC Supply goes and sells my product to Joe Schmo Garage.
Yeah.
So I don't have that many customers. I have maybe, let's say, I want to say actively, I might have like 12 distributors,
Hmm.
right? So it's not as many. If I would be in their shoes, and they do better than that, and I have salesmen. Excuse me, I've been in this industry for a little while, so I have kind of. all kinds of organizational skills or tools. I'm talking about from back from the days when people actually used vanilla folders, and they would put in a folder for the company. To currently now, I know people use OneNote and they're very successful with that. And there's different kind of apps, but I do have a CRM. For example, this is a very good example. My predecessor that I took over, the guy retired, um, put a lot of notes in CRM. So now I go into an account, let's say it's an end user. Um, I can type in an end user name, and I can see his note. If he's been there, talk to what he would talk to, what he tested, what worked, what didn't work. It's helpful. It is helpful.
Yeah.
Uh, that would be, I would say, if my boss would agree on this, that is my weakness because I think there should be more notes in CRM for people to see, and it will change. At the point, they're working on CRM where easily accessible on the phone, kind of where we at.
Hmm. What do you find most rewarding about your career?
Getting that sale,
Yeah.
getting, I feel like a little kid in the candy store when I work on something, 3, 6 months, a year, and then at the end, like, I got it. Hey, like I said, it's not about money. It just like it's just this high. You get this word. See, I don't have a tangible. I wish the problem with this kind of a field is you have immediate tangible reward, satisfaction. The car works all day. At the end of the day, he looks back and he goes, "I built that bookcase." He immediately sees something that he's been working on and successfully achieved. We don't have that. We might go months without seeing or closing the deal, and
Yeah.
it wasn't easy to get used to. Get eventually used to.
Hmm. How do you balance your life as far as your work and home and everything else?
Well, the balance is critical. What's nice about outside salesmanship is it's kind of like that owning your own business, but you really don't own. You're not the owner of the company, but you own your. I feel like I own this company. At least in the states that I cover, that's my business, my company. So I treat it as such. But also gives me a flexibility. If I need to pick up a daughter from school, um, I'm not I'm not stuck in some office that, um, that I have to be because the hours I have to. So I have a lot of flexibility. Uh, I
Hmm.
can I can make up that time at night, let's say emails or whatever. But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. How do you stay on top of um, your craft, your skills, and so on? Like, how do you continuously learn and develop?
I still have an drive in me that wants me to get out. I think it comes. You really, I want to say it's rooted in you because if it's rooted in you from the beginning, from when you were young, how you were trained, it stays with you. And I testify towards that. That my upbringing, work hard, get up early. uh, If you have that, if you have that, you have that, and then you have that for the rest of your. So you get going. You get up and you start. No, you have to get up. You do your work.
Hmm. When it comes to your family relationships, family and friends, um, Like how is that impacting your life, or like how do you make strong relationships?
Say it again.
When it comes to close relationships, like family relationships, friends relationships, how do you make them strong and fulfilling?
Just like anything else, um, you have to be able to be. There's a word I'm trying to think of. Um, Contribution. You have to be contributor to any kind of relationship. You contribute to a family, contribute to a friendship. You have to be able to be. I'm a friend to this, or because of this. And I contribute, and I feel like that would be the answer that I want to go with.
How do you feel, or how have your relationships changed over time? Like, let's say from high school to now, like um, how you view relationships, how you develop them, and so on.
So relationships do change. Obviously, before you marry, before you have children, or um, out there with time, so you friends, people, your interests and your activities. But when you get married, when you have children, I noticed that your interest in your activities changed because of your kids. Let's say, for
Hmm.
example, yeah. So you look forward. I was lucky enough to have friends that had children kind of my age, and that's who you become friends with, and then you become friends, and you do activities that our kids like, and it's all around. It's all around the kids at that point.
Hmm. So as you go through different stages of life, you kind of align with people in those similar stages.
You do. Um, let's say now, for me to be friends with somebody that's starting out to have kids, we wouldn't have mutual um, common denominator.
Hmm.
So you look at people that were in your circle, that have kids your age, and you partner up with that.
Hmm. How do you deal with conflicts or disagreements within personal and professional relationships?
How do you deal with personal and professional disagreements? You take a humble approach, and you stay cool headed, if you will, and you just do the right thing. You you do the right thing. You know what's
Yeah,
the right thing. Do it.
yeah. Um, when it comes to like social community, like what is your social life like?
My social life, um, it's around the family, the children, and it's around church family. Um, that's pretty much my social.
Okay. What? How about as far as hobbies and things like that? You have any kind of things you like to do more so than others?
Not much as I used to when we were younger and we were more active and we had more strength and our bodies were more flexible. We spent a lot of time on the cart, but right now it's around what needs to be done, what needs to be taken care of, house wise, family wise, kids wise, cars wise. All of a sudden, you become a mechanic where you used to be. You remodel the house, you update your house. You're not a builder, contractor. Um, those are my new hobbies.
Yeah, the necessities of life.
Yep.
When you were younger, did you play any sports?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What kind of sports?
Very active on that volleyball court. Beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot. Sure.
Yeah, I play a little.
Hmm.
Um, I think we talked before. You picked up golf as well, right? Later on.
We did. Yeah, top golf. It was basically work related thing because I
Yeah.
noticed that a lot of people enjoy being at the golf course, and it was that's where a lot of business is done at that. So I picked up. Um, actually played a little bit, and it was a good thing. I don't say that I still enjoy it. I don't play as much. I do enjoy it. I went there. I'm still golfing mostly with customers.
Hmm.
Um, but
You mentioned like your social life revolves around family and church and so on. Um, how much or how does faith like have an impact on you?
100%, it's all faith driven. Everything we do, I like to say that I don't sell sandpaper um, because I pray to sell sandpaper. I just sell sandpaper because that's just what God has given me, the platform that He's given me. But that's not who I am. I'm obviously we believe we profess uh, Christianity and belief in Jesus Christ, and what we do wherever we are, school, work, church. That's first.
And how do you balance kind of like uh, practicing going to church and so on versus all the other responsibilities of life?
Well, being a traveling salesman, um, I I do sometimes miss church during the week when there's services, but we're there and twice on Sunday to make up. But we try to make church anytime, of course.
Hmm. When it comes to like your physical health and so on, do you have any kind of routines where you're trying to stay healthy as far as exercise or eating right or anything like that?
I don't. I used to, but I don't, and I don't know how much to say about it. We are, for example, my meals are taken care of when where I'm where I'm working when I'm traveling. So I have a choice not to eat junk food. So I don't eat junk food anymore. Uh, uh, every hotel that we stay at, uh, there's a gym. You can go work out. So when somebody says, and I hear this a lot, it's hard to stay healthy or skinny when you're a salesman. Salesman, it is hard, but because I see how it can get out of control and you um, don't do anything and not be healthy. You have a choice. You have a choice what to work. You have a choice to work out. Or not. So it becomes a personal discipline.
Yeah. When it comes to finances, what are the most important things or lessons you've learned about money and wealth management?
The old saying, "Spend more than you make," has a lot to say about that. We are. I'm a saver, so I don't have a with overspending. Let's say. In fact, I always look for ways how we can um, spend less. Let's say. So, but
So when it comes to money and what was the most important thing you've learned about money and wealth management?
money doesn't grow on trees, so there's a limit to money. You don't want to overspend it. You want to save. You want to give. Um, and um, don't make money your idol. That's that's in the same way as don't think that money is evil either. I mean, it could be evil if you misuse it, but you can do a lot good with money.
Yeah. How would you mentioned earlier about focusing on money, right, in sales, but at the same time don't make it your idol. How do you balance the two thoughts?
When you money in sales is your reward, just like a carpenter looks at a bookcase that he finished. Um, at the end of the month, when you get the commission check, that's your reward. And of course, anybody that sells, they want to have that reward grow. Just like a company that I work for, they like, they love to see sales grow because they sell more product and they sell more product and make more money. So it's kind of trickles down to salespeople, but that's our motivator.
Hmm. So on one hand, you want to use it as a motivator, but don't let it like overtake you completely, kind of a thing.
For sure. I mean, you make money because that's your job. You make money. Any business owner wants to make money. You make money, but what do you do with that money? Yeah, that's 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 when reality comes in, and that's where teaching, Christian teaching, faith based teaching comes in. How you spend it, your family responsibilities. I mean, I tell you, have a couple of teenagers or young adults in your family are cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what are a couple stories you wouldn't mind sharing from your life, like some highs, some lows in your life, whatever it is?
Uh, I don't necessarily highs or lows. It just talking back to, I'm now almost a middle age. Well, I am a man, and it goes back to thinking how you get here. How did you get here? And I can see, I could see the path. I could see God's will and everything all the way to my days in that shop where I washed these big machine carriers. If it could have been all, it could have been all different. Listen, nobody gets up in the morning and says, "I want to, I crave selling sandpaper. I'm gonna go sell some sandpaper." But that's what I do. But it's not who I am. It's what I do, but that's not who I am. But it could have been all different. So from that shop, if that guy would have given me some kind of task and I would learn to like it or work in and become good at it, I would say that I've been a factory employee probably for the rest of my life. But because of what he did and forced me to go to school and get a degree, and then learn that I like want to be around people, I love actually selling. Um, Made me who I am. The program that I took at that trade school, precision machining, it's a metal oriented program. They use cutting tools to make out of metal, and they use sandpaper. So my sandpaper um, present goes all the way to my past, where I used it in a little school, in that trade school.
Hmm. It's all interconnected.
It is connected, and I never, for sure, it wasn't my dream selling sandpaper, but for some reason, I do that, and I enjoy what I do. But you know, people get stuck on the sandpaper. It doesn't have to be sandpaper; it could be anything. There's a salesman for everything. Nuts and bolts. things that you use, there's a salesman who's selling it, either directly or indirectly. But I tell you, with my platform, I get to meet a lot of people, and I go into some cool places where they make cool product that I probably would never see. And regular Joe Schmo down the road will probably never get into a place like that because it's so secretive. Um, I get to see that, and it's like, you know what? It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, so sales definitely opens opportunities to other things, relationships, places, and
It
so on.
does. And going back to Jerry, what you were asking. You know, with my platform, I can be. I'm at this point, and the whole point of this podcast is for our next generation, right? And I'm there. I'm actually. I've been dwelling a lot about that. I'm doing all I can. I see these kids starting out in the same field that I am in, and I'm here because somebody was doing that to me when I started out. I had a mentor. I had people that would mentor me, that would help me, that would talk to me, coach me, and I'm passing it on. I'm at the point in my life where I'm actually doing the same thing. I'm passing it on. I'm not at the end of my journey yet, God willing, but I'm there. I'm at that place where I can take this kid and I can coach him. I can teach him. I can tell him a thing or two. Same thing with my just like you are. We're coaching them. We're telling them no. Um, we're hoping that they will listen to us and build on that because my goal for my children, my our next generation that take over would be for them to be better than I am.
Yeah,
Us. I want them to be smart. I want them to be more creative. I want them to be more successful. So they should build on. How much of that is translate into um, future? I don't know. I'm doing my best.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything else you'd like to share?
For uh, for work related, family wise, or personal, it just the lessons of the life is stay humble, get up in the morning. You know, one thing that I'm telling my kids this: get up in the morning. I've been told to the early bird get, and I for some reason got stuck in my mind. I'm a morning person now, always have been, and I love it. Get up in the morning. You plan your talking about professional life. You plan your day the day before, so when you get up in the morning, you go running and stay humble, work hard, and live a life, live a little, enjoy your life. God is good. He has blessed us with so much that we could never repay him. The only thing we can say, Jesus, and keep on trucking.
Yeah, yeah, Jerry. Thank you so much for joining me here and kind of sharing your life story, and a little bit about your work and sales. So yeah, definitely appreciate it.
You're welcome.